Hey Keith, it's time for Love Your Bones.
Hey, Mickey, it is time to love your bones, and we have a special guest.
We do. You corralled her to be on our show. I'm so happy.
Sure did. I was walking down the street, and she said, "Oh, you look like you know a lot of stuff about the state of Mississippi."
All right.
All right. So glad to have you, Dr. Mary. So glad to
We
have you. So,
it is so good to be here, especially, with the concern of bone health. I definitely love my bones, and it is so good to be here today. And I thank you all for having me, for inviting me to be a part of this great, great program today.
thank you. Thank you. So tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And tell us
Okay.
about, a
Oh,
little bit about
wow.
Mississippi too. So
Yes.
Now
Oh,
remember,
well.
remember, she has a day job, night job, all around the state job. So she,
Every
oh my God.
everything, everything.
Oh, thank
I am Dr. Mary Hosley. I serve as second vice president and healthcare promotions chair of NAACP Forest County branch. I am retired RN. I taught nursing at the University of Southern Mississippi here in Hattiesburg for over 20 years. And
wow.
what else is that? I'm an ordained minister. So
All
I'm
right.
associate minister here in Hattiesburg as well. And I have a twin. I have one daughter and a husband named Kenneth. And hey,
and,
that's
and,
about
and,
it.
and
But so
and he drives
and
fast too. Go
a
ahead and tell
commu-
everybody he drives fast.
he
Okay.
said I drive fast, but he okay. I'll just leave that there. But
Okay.
yeah, I am a community advocate. They call me the a collaborator of the year, Dr. Keith.
Mhm.
Collaborator
That's
of
why
the
she's
year.
on.
So
That Ricky, that's what I said.
I
That's
know.
why she's
You
on
told
here.
me, you
She
told me
on
she
with the
was
collaborator of the year.
the collaborator of the year. So, again, I'm just happy to be here today to discuss this important issue here in Mississippi. I've been here, well, just about all of my life, Mississippi, Louisiana girl. So, this is home. And it's
right.
healthcare is so very important to me and the people I serve here in South Mississippi and the Pine Belt and the hub city, Dr. Keith, as we call it.
Hmm.
So it's very important that we take care of our health, our bones, whatever chronic condition. So it's just great to be here.
Yeah. Are you in Cancer Alley, or are you like in an area where cancer is prevalent, or just
It
health?
is prevalent. Yeah, it is prevalent, but we don't have a lot of numbers because it's so diverse. We have liver, pancreatic, breast cancer, pretty much so, more so than we see in any other cancers here is breast cancer. We have a few that they experience prostate cancer, and that's what we're working on now is to get the awareness out. And we have so many people, especially when it comes to prostate cancer don't want to discuss their diagnosis or don't
Right.
want you to know that they have the diagnosis. But, we do have a large number, and I'm seeing more and more since the COVID pandemic. I'm seeing more and more with the prostate cancer, but breast cancer for sure. So there is, they call us Tornado Alley. I think I shared that with
Oh, okay,
Dr.
yes.
Keith, Tornado
Okay.
Alley, but we do have the cancers as well. Yes.
Do
So
you do
can I,
you
I want to ask a question. What
uh,
so when we look at the southern aspect of Mississippi, is
Mhm.
there from a general perspective, is there a lot of chronic disease?
Yes, there are a lot of chronic diseases, especially with cardiovascular diseases, diabetes. There's a problem with diabetes and obesity. Those are just a few of the chronic diseases that we have, and of course, we always look at HIV and AIDS and STDs and things like that as well. But cardiovascular and diabetes, strokes, things of the sort yes, they are pretty prevalent here in Mississippi.
hypertension and stroke and stuff?
Yes, and obesity. Did I say obesity? Obesity
Yeah.
as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
And of course,
That's
that just
because the fried chicken is really good. Right?
yes, the fried
Mhm.
chicken is fantastic.
And
Yes, fried anything
the
is important.
banana pudding is not that
Pardon?
bad either. I'm
And the
just telling you.
banana pudding is good. Yes, we are bad. We're bad, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
How do we get people? Black people to eat better. It's really hard, you know, it's so hard to get people to eat better and watch their weight, you know. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, because we're really good cooks. I
Yeah,
can already
yeah,
tell you're a cook. I can already
yeah.
tell from
I cook. I really do. I really
I can
cook.
tell. I can,
Yeah, because
I
I told her they fed me well. Yeah, I
I
told
mean,
that's the what I
you
told Ricky. I said, but it's
yes, the
you ain't no
greens, the cornbread, the
mean,
pork chop, the ribs, the fried chicken, all of that stuff, but we're
I know.
trying to do better. And in South Mississippi, we have a lot of like food deserts too, we have food pantries here that give away, food boxes, but they may not have the healthiest of choice foods,
Right. They're giving
foods
me
there.
pancake batter and like
And when
batter.
you yes, and when you're hungry, you just have to eat what you can get. And McDonald's is here, and Wendy's and all the fast food chains. And it's so easy sometimes to pick up a fast food, a hamburger or whatever, a dinner from McDonald's, as opposed to cooking healthy meals, and growing your own gardens as well. So yeah, we see a lot of people with the obesity, but it depends on a lot of factors, their economics, status, and where we live, and I'll bring this up to exercise, and getting the amount of exercise we need. Is it safe in your neighborhood to go walking on the tracks, or can you not walk because there's not plenty of lighting and different things like that? So I believe education is the key, to just keep educating people on their food resources and their diagnoses, and how food relates to that, how obesity affects that. So we have to keep talking, we have to keep planning, we have to keep putting those resources in place that will educate our people. And Dr. Keith, no, he has, is it Hosea, our people will perish because of lack of knowledge. So we need to keep, just pressing on whatever platform we have. That should be a subject of choice, and that's proper eating, exercise, and just taking care of yourself in general.
Yeah, but you know, if you're a single mom, McDonald's is a deal, man. What do
Hmm.
you
Yes,
like? I don't
yes.
know. I mean, I don't go there, but you can see all these commercials
you're a
on
single
TV that
dad. McDonald's is a deal.
single dad, yeah, like
If you-
when I'm busy, 3 kids, whatever, I'm gonna go there to hit that drive through.
but
But also though, also, we have good traditions in our Black families, like Sunday dinner.
Yes, yes,
And like,
yes,
grandma's gonna cook on Sunday dinner, right? And so,
yes,
it's
yes,
hard to break those habits and it becomes generational. You,
yes, yes,
you
yes.
see where the whole family has it,
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And we do need to break those generational curses as far as like meal. I can see Thanksgiving. I love, that's my
Yeah,
favorite time of the year, Thanksgiving. But and that's the time
me
I
too.
cheat. That I really cheat. I lay everything aside. I know I gotta eat next
Mhm.
week.
Right.
Thanksgiving, I gotta save that sweet potato pie. Oh my
I
God.
know you
You
gotta
know,
teach me to get pie.
and my daughter loves pineapple upside down cake. We have to flip
Mm.
it every Thanksgiving. So I have to watch my diet leading up to Thanksgiving, in particular. And because I love to eat and I love sweets, that's my downfall is sweets. And I'm a diabetic type 2. So I have to still watch my diet, but we have to get out of that generation. And we did it like this forever. Mom, dad, everybody cooked and this, but
Right,
we
right.
need to start putting health first. We
Yeah,
need to want to live longer. So
right,
it's
right. I
important,
think it's okay. I think it's okay to cheat on Thanksgiving. I'm a cook in my
Yes,
house too, but to me, that
yes,
the
Shoot,
sweet
yes,
potato
Thanksgiving.
marshmallow.
I'm like, please,
But
yes.
you know
at
what
least
though?
one. Give
You
me
know what
one
I
Sunday a month.
Oh my God. One Sunday, and
but
that's being realistic.
yeah, that's fair. But you know what I
Yeah.
do on Thanksgiving, Mary? And I
What do you
started
do?
this maybe about 6 years ago, and my family
Mhm,
hated me for this, but I'm the
mhm.
cook. So we all stand up, the food's ready, then we all stand up, the turkey's,
Yes,
the mashed
yes,
potatoes are steamed and everything's ready.
yes,
And we get
yes,
up to say grace, right? So everybody, we go
yes.
around the circle, and we usually have about
Mhm.
25 people. Go around the
Yes,
circle to say what they're thankful for before we say grace. So I make
yes.
everybody give me your numbers. What's your
Mhm,
A1C? What's your
mhm,
PSA? When was your last mammogram? you know,
Mhm.
when I make them go through all the stuff, and they hated me at first, and now they're like, okay, okay, okay. But you
That
can't
sounds great. Maybe I'll start that.
until
Yes,
you do that, right? And so
yes,
we
yes.
go eat the bad food for a minute, but they go
Mhm,
home and they're thinking about,
mhm,
oh my
mhm.
gosh, and you know what? They start to think about each other, you know?
Yes, yes, yes.
Blood
Mhm,
pressure was not good this time.
mhm, mhm.
Maybe
That's a
so and
great,
so. Yeah, so
yeah,
I put that in,
yeah.
and they hated me first, but now it's like, okay, we got to do it. And they come
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
like, no, I'm gonna ask them. But I think
yeah.
I had to start that conversation with my family.
Mhm, mhm.
That's-
And that's
it was
great.
So
Yeah,
it's interesting. So
great.
we gravitated towards food and nutrition and food deserts.
Mhm, mhm,
So now you said that, and we got a lot of chronic illnesses.
mhm,
So if we're talking about nutrition, then we're talking about bone health again.
Mhm.
We're
mhm,
talking about vitamin D deficiency and calcium deficiency.
Mhm.
mhm,
Is
mhm.
that, I mean, is there a lot of people who are lactose intolerant in Mississippi, or people, have you heard about that?
Yes, and that have has been a concern as well. The lactose intolerant people, where they don't, can't tolerate just the normal, dairy contents or foods.
So they're not
So
getting their calcium. See,
yeah,
see
they're
now.
not getting the calcium. Yeah, so we find ways that they can improve their calcium intake. It may be via supplements,
Mhm.
or things like that, but we have to talk to them about supplements and other food choices as far as calcium content, vitamin D content, sunlight, getting plenty of sunlight, and magnesium and zinc and all of that needs to be included in their diet to help with the absorption of calcium as well. So we are in a food desert, and then we deal with a lot of GI problems like the problem with them tolerating lactose. So
Mhm.
we do offer, we do have like offer them like different types of supplements or teach them regarding dietary health as well. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Do
Yeah.
you have, we have any numbers? Because I know at a national level, we know that
Mm-hmm.
75% of Black folks are
Mm-hmm.
lactose intolerant. So it's
Mm-hmm.
that's probably consistent with what's going on in Mississippi, you think?
Yes, I did get that number. 75% of African Americans are lactose intolerant in their, meaning their diet, diet is affected in dietary consumption.
Mhm.
Black women, here's another number. Black women's calcium intake is 50% less than the recommended daily allowance.
Wow.
50%. And that's
Mhm.
not,
Wow.
that's outside of being lactose intolerant. They're just 50% lesser, regardless of what they really need, what they need to consume on a daily basis. So there is more that
And
needs to be done,
and that's
regard.
why that's that concern when you start talking about
Yeah.
lactose intolerant, that means you're not
Yes,
taking enough dairy. If you're not taking enough dairy, then you're not
yes,
getting
I
enough
do.
calcium. So
right. You,
there's an issue here. And
yes, yes, yes.
and this is very interesting, Ricky. And I think that Mary, the same thing is that we go through and we
Mm-hmm.
identify a problem.
Yeah.
Turn the light on in the room and let people understand how
Mm-hmm.
important your bones are and bone
Yeah.
health. And
Yeah.
then what people don't, so now let me ask you a question. It's not like it's common knowledge. It's not like on the news.
Right.
What we're talking about today, is this something that you've heard before? Or is this
Right.
something that
Well.
is not, it's an,
Right.
it's,
Right.
we bring these type of things to the table so people understand.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And people aren't thinking about their bones. You know, we take
Mm-hmm.
bones for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We get up every morning and get out the bed and stand up, and it never crosses our
Mm-hmm.
minds that our
Mm-hmm.
bones won't work today, right?
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
my granddog is like saying, "Let's go for a walk and make our bones." My granddog.
So you
Um,
guys see, you said, you look at what you said. You said,
but-
you need to do, you're
yeah,
Yes.
the dog. I
Yes.
need to take you out so I can help you with your bones. So
right.
Okay.
your
I
dog
know.
got the
Well, I
message.
tell everybody to get a dog. Walking is the best exercise. Walking is the
Yes.
best exercise.
But
But
see,
Yes.
I wanted to say that whole issue again of I mean, think about it. And we
Mhm,
got chronic disease because when you have some,
mhm,
people that are poor, they're not
mhm,
getting the good food. They have
mhm,
chronic diseases of diabetes and
mhm,
in there that
mhm.
weaken the bones because we know that's one of the metabolic disorders that
Yes.
weakens the bones.
Mhm.
So what can we do about it?
I'll go back to educate, teach, make those nutritional consults or referrals as well. The general practitioner can make that part of the plan of care for the patient. We can teach them on the foods that are high in calcium and the importance of good bone health. It supplies us with our structure, our status. It protects
Right,
other organs,
right.
a lot of different things. So we need to educate our people on the importance of bone health because if we end up with osteoporosis or whatever, that could affect our daily way of living, our daily
Our
lives.
work, our ability to work,
Yes,
our ability to take
yes,
care of our families, and that's a
yes,
thing
yes,
that Black women have a way worse
yes,
outcome when
yes,
they fall. When we fall, the
yes.
whole family falls,
The whole family.
right? When
See,
we get
see,
cancer, the whole family. When we
Mhm.
get diabetes, the whole family is affected.
Yes, yes,
And then what's interesting is this, statistically,
mm-hmm,
we know that uh, people, white women, have a
mm-hmm,
higher incidence of
mm-hmm,
osteoporosis. You see how people word stuff, and I'm
mm-hmm,
not calling, pointing at any ethnic group. I'm
mm-hmm,
just saying that the
mm-hmm,
literature says one
mm-hmm.
group has a higher incidence. It does
Mhm.
not say this other group doesn't have an incidence.
Right,
Right,
And
right.
so
right,
now what happens
right.
is the incidence is higher in one
Mhm,
group,
mhm,
but with black folks, with black women,
mhm, mhm,
when they break something,
mhm.
they're going to have a worse outcome
Yes, yes,
folks from
yes,
the general population. So
Yeah,
yes.
this is why
yeah,
this message is
Mhm.
so important. Is timely. And you're
Yes,
a healthcare professional in the
yes,
community, and
yes.
and really the nurse is the
Mhm,
boots on the ground,
mhm. Yes,
the one
yes.
coming in contact with people. That's why you're here.
Mhm,
yeah.
I mean, this
mhm,
has is that a message that's
mhm,
being disseminated throughout the state of Mississippi?
Right, right.
mhm.
And so I
That's
didn't
true.
see.
And even you said you're a type 2 diabetic, well,
Yes.
so you have to be extra careful, but
Yes.
is it hereditary? Do other people in your family have it? Are you
Yes.
and
Yes.
do you think that even as a nurse, I mean, you knew a lot to begin
Mhm,
with, but do you think that when you were diagnosed, you were effectively educated about how to take care of yourself? I mean, I don't think that's even
yes.
doctors unless people like
Yes.
And see,
you
Yes.
you're
have
a nurse.
education,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yes. I am a lived experience, meaning I live it. I actually live it. Type 2 diabetes, diabetes in general, run in my family. My mother was I think she was type 1, really. And then my grandmother, came down with the diabetes later in life. However, diabetes came upon me when I got pregnant with my daughter. So I
Mhm.
had gestational diabetes. And
Oh,
guess
wow.
what? It really wasn't diagnosed till I was 8 months pregnant, about to have the baby.
Wow.
All of a sudden,
Right.
oh, you have diabetes. So it does run in my family. Amputations run in my family from
Mhm.
diabetes, cardiovascular accidents, and all of that type strokes. It runs in my family. And of course, my doctor's always saying, oh, everything is due to diabetes. So once you get that diagnosis with
And that
diabetes, then
explains.
everything is relating to those arteries and hardening of the arteries and everything like that, plaque buildup, all of that. Yes, high cholesterol, all of that runs in my family, so it is hereditary for me. I've been dealing with it now for about 25 years or more. Started with just a pill. I think it was Dibeta. It's been so long now. Old drug. Oh, it's an old drug, but now I'm on insulin 3 times a day. So it has worsened regardless of what I've tried to do. I could tighten up on my diet, of course, but it's been a while. Now my eyes are affected as well. So it's so important that we teach. And now my sister was recently diagnosed as pre-diabetes. However, I was taught either you have it or you don't. but pre-diabetes, and I have to stay on her, watch the cokes, watch the sweet. It's not funny. I promise you, you don't want this. So I'm dealing with her right now, in try to keep it off as long as possible by proper eating and exercise, and then the weight as well. So yes, it runs in my family. It is hereditary, yes.
And I just wanted to
Right.
flag this
Wow.
one concept, this one disease condition. This
Mhm.
is one of those diseases that also impact your bone health. So
Mhm,
everyone who's
mhm.
listening right now have to
Yeah.
understand it's not, okay, I get enough calcium, I get I get enough
Mhm,
vitamin D. Okay,
mhm.
get enough. But if you do suffer from chronic illnesses like
Yeah.
Right.
diabetes, you're really
Mhm,
going to have to
mhm,
monitor the health of your bones. And so
mhm,
my question is,
mhm.
have did your doctor ever talk to you about your bone health? Did you get a bone scan?
Did you get a bone scan?
Oh no, never had a bone scan. And that's it's so good you brought that up with other chronic illnesses. Also, lupus and sickle cell plays a part in your bone health or make you at higher risk, for that thinning or weakening of the bone that could, you can have fractures from. But as far as a bone scan, and since we're talking on that, at one of my meetings last night, there are a couple of elderly ladies there, and I was just asking them about their bone health, and if they have they ever been offered a bone density scan? And primarily every one of them said no, and they're like 70, 80 years old.
Mhm.
My sister, I have a few aunts that's 60s or in their early 70s, later 60s, never had a bone scan, but I hear them complaining of bone pain all the time, back pain, knees, hips, all of that,
Wow. Oh,
but
yeah.
they have never been offered a bone scan
Man, isn't
after
that
age
crazy?
50.
Well,
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
And so,
that's
because
and,
I
crazy.
think, yeah, that's crazy because they're just
Yes,
people aren't doctors aren't giving them to them in physicals. And I
yes,
think a
right.
lot of times, what do old people call what do old
Mhm.
people what does my mother call arthritis? Arthur.
Oh, yes,
They
yes.
say it's Arthur, right? Arthur,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
That's all the old people say.
yes,
I've got Arthur bothering me, right?
yes,
Or and they
yes.
automatically think it's arthritis or something you get when you are,
Mhm.
as opposed to really going and
Yes.
checking it out, right?
Yes, yes, and it's so important that our healthcare providers should make bone density scan a part of our care plan.
Right. Right.
That should be like when we go in to have our annual PAPs and things like that. You're African American, you at risk for hypertension, blah blah blah. Well, bone health should be a part of that conversation as
Mhm.
well, especially
Yeah.
if you're 50 and above, 65 and above, or less than that and have fallen or have a slight injury, flags should be going up to at least do a bone density scan to just see what their calcium looks like, see what the vitamin D looks like, and then treat accordingly. So it is very important. And Dr. Keith, this is very important that we even open this conversation regarding bone health because it gets people's attention. Like, oh yeah, we hadn't
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should address
I
that.
mean,
So
we're talking about
yeah.
Yeah.
all the folks that you talk, because if that one fracture comes in,
Mhm.
then there's
Mhm.
going to
Right.
be another fracture. And
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
and we
another
know
fact.
that black women suffer
Mhm.
more after
Mhm.
the fracture. They may
Mhm.
not be diagnosed with, well, it's kind of
Mhm.
funny. It's
Yes.
if you don't look for it, then you
Mhm.
can't diagnose it, so that you can't
Right.
the incidence is lower. So
Yes.
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
if they're not
Yeah.
looking for it in black women, so how can you
Right.
really say what the incidence truly is?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother's downfall, and my mother, she's
Mhm.
not now, and she's very vibrant, but was a
Mhm.
fall.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
fall. And frankly, I had to ask for her to get a bone scan after
Mhm.
she fell. She had never
Wow.
had one at
Wow.
85, right? And she
Oh,
had a horrible
wow.
fall, ripped her shoulder apart, and that was her downfall. Like that took her,
Oh,
basically made her not incapacitated because but she's in a wheelchair, she's on oxygen, she has COPD,
yes.
brought
Yes.
all the other stuff wrong with her to the
Mhm.
surface, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
she's still never recovered from that. She can't, basically,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't stop her from like
Mhm.
being badass
Telling you
and
what to
Yeah.
do.
Tell me what
Yeah.
to do.
And
Okay.
that is so interesting that you said that, especially with her age. As I was reading and looking at different research studies, which there's not even a lot out there, Dr. Keith, on bone health. There's not a lot of data here in Mississippi, especially in Hattiesburg, the Pine Belt. There's not a lot of data on osteoporosis, and especially the African American woman. But I was kind of shocked when I saw that people could die from osteoporosis
Yeah,
because of the other risk factors. And it's
right,
harder for them to heal, it's harder for them to get
right,
up.
right,
Therefore, they actually could die from, from the falls and the fractures that,
right,
affect
right.
other chronic conditions as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now the
Yeah.
other dog.
Because that's it's interesting that
Mhm.
you have, you have a very large population of Black folks in
Mhm.
Mississippi.
Mhm.
50% of those are going to be women.
Yes. Yes.
And then there's going to be a percentage of that population that
Mhm.
has started to have lower, after
Mhm.
30, your estrogen levels start to decline.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
when you get to perimenopausal or menopausal state,
Yes.
and you
Yeah.
got declining estrogen, you have
Mhm.
um, chronic disease, you have
Yes.
poor calcium intake.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yes.
that in itself is
Mhm.
places Black women at a higher risk.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
if they don't want to accept the higher risk, the issue is that their outcomes are worse. And
Mhm.
we know that they say the outcomes are worse in
Yes. Yes.
women after they get that fracture.
Yes, yes. Our postmenopausal women is at higher risk, especially with the problem with the estrogen intake, because it regulates bone metabolism and bone mass in men and women. So estrogen deficiency can lead to bone loss. So it's important that again we educate, and let them know, let our people know the importance of good bone health. Following up with your doctor, if there's a problem with the African American, especially the woman, actually going to physical therapy, whether
Right.
it be due to insurance or no, no way of paying that bill. Even I read somewhere where it says something about even delayed surgery for the hip or a hip
Oh, yeah.
fracture.
Our surgeries are
Yeah,
delayed,
yeah,
our
services
recovery,
are yes,
and we're
yes,
not getting physical therapy the way that
yes.
people do. And
Mm-hmm.
all of
Mm-hmm.
this harder. And then all of our comorbidities come into play when we fall,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
So
yes.
all the things. And then you can't
Mhm.
exercise. You
And
can't
then
walk.
we can't.
You can't,
Yes.
Yeah.
do the things to keep yourself healthy when you're after
Yes.
you've fallen. My biggest
Mhm,
thing is falling for my mother and for me, man. I'm like
mhm,
so
mhm.
cautious. My kids wanted me to go roller skate. I'm like, no, I'm too old.
No, because if we fall or break something, I may not jump
I
up the
said,
hill
I
as
said,
fast.
I said, if Ricky falls, she's falling in water.
I'm
Okay.
falling in water. You got it. You know, I'm on the water, man. You can't break
she's
anything.
she's on rowing. She's like rowing.
Oh
A
my
little,
God.
a
I'll be on
little
my paddleboard and
her
fall right in the water.
paddleboard. She's like, okay, if
Yes.
I'm falling,
I'm
I'm
not
falling
falling
in
on.
some water because
I'm not
I
falling
Yes.
on
can't break a
top.
bone in
Okay.
water.
You can't
Okay.
break it in war. But I heard if you fall hard enough now, you can. It
She's
depends
not
on the
going that
height.
fast, you know.
It depends on how
I
high
said,
up you are. No,
Yeah,
I said
it
maybe
depends.
because
Yeah.
she has Cooper on the board, so she has
I
Okay.
know.
the
When I
board.
got my dog
Cooper is
on
the
the
little
board, no,
dog, so
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Cooper doesn't
Right.
like high speeds. She
Okay,
I-
I understand. I understand. But I did read in one study that I was reading about that 30% of African American women are at higher odds of not receiving even the physical therapy that we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
following any
yeah,
hip fracture.
yep.
30%. Have a higher odds for not receiving the care and the treatment that they need, especially physical therapy. And yeah, we need to do something. We need to open these doors and keep the communication going. We need to be collaborating with others as well as Bone Health. Here in Hattiesburg, we have a few clinics that address bones, but we need to be teaching and educating. We need to not just be reactive after it has happened, but we need to be
right. But
proactive.
beforehand,
In teaching and letting people know ahead of time how to take care of their bone health, especially our older people, 50 and
yes,
above. It's
Mhm.
so important that they realize it because in passing this week, I've had so many people that haven't. I had one lady, and she might be like 87, that said she had a bone scan. I said, okay, well, what did they say? She said, I never heard back. So there is even no follow up. I was
Right.
like, so you never
What
heard
happened? Was
back
I
from
Right.
normal? Yeah.
How you have, I said you have a bone scan
And no
and there's
one
no
called.
follow-up.
right?
How you,
Nobody
because the
has
kids,
followed up.
and how
She
old is
said
she again?
she's about 80. I want to say she's 87, 85,
That,
but nothing, no follow up. And she said it's been at least 2 weeks or so since she had the scan, but I don't know. She said she don't know what happened,
so you're gonna
so
have to call her. You're gonna have to call her tonight.
yeah,
So we got to figure out what's going on there.
yes,
So
yes.
it sounds like what you're telling is, I mean, again, I
Mm-hmm,
don't like to point fingers,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm,
when you're
mm-hmm,
talking about, the lack
mm-hmm.
of follow-up, that plays a
Yes,
significant role when we start talking about the disparities.
yes, yes,
Mississippi.
yes,
What are
yes.
your thoughts
No,
about
so
this whole issue of
also,
disparity?
yeah, also with the
Mm-hmm,
physical therapy thing too,
mm-hmm,
we are
mm-hmm,
like badass powerhouse Black women
mm-hmm,
don't
mm-hmm,
always like, I mean, clearly there's an access issue. Are we being offered therapy? And there's definitely a disconnect there. But then
mm-hmm,
sometimes, oh, I got to go back to work. I got to feed my
mm-hmm,
kids.
mm-hmm,
And we don't do it. And it
mm-hmm.
makes our situation worse because we're so busy trying to
Yes,
Right.
take
yes,
from everybody else, right? And so
yes,
then
yes,
it
yes.
becomes like, well, like, I don't have time for, I feel
Mm-hmm.
better.
I don't have time to be sick. Plus, I don't have money.
I don't have
I don't have.
money.
Yes,
Right. It's
I
not
mean, so
covered. Right. It's
yes,
not happening.
yes, right. So, would you rather eat or or
Right.
take care of your your health? So
Well,
it's important. And so,
let me backtrack. So,
hmm hmm
would you? So, would you? First thing, would you rather take care of your kids, and
hmm
then, or you rather eat? So you see,
hmm
mothers went
The kids win every
have to
time.
take care of the family
Kids
hmm
win every
before they
time.
take care of everybody else.
The kids
right.
win every time without a doubt.
hmm
Right.
And yes, yes, but I want to back up a little bit. I thought I heard one of you say that regarding the awareness of osteoporosis. In one of my readings, I read where women in the Black community have less awareness about osteoporosis than white women, and this can delay prevention and treatment. So
Yeah.
again, the educate, because we're not doing that in our communities.
And, and that,
We're too now right now, which is important. We're dealing with a lot of gun violence.
Mhm.
Children,
Oh, yeah.
teenagers. Yes, we're dealing with a lot of gun violence. I've been having gun violence awareness workshops and seminars and rallies for a while now for this
So
baby.
scary.
He was 6 years old and got hit and died. So there's a lot of gun violence here that we've been actually looking at, but we need to not forget, like Dr. Keith said, we don't need to forget our health, our bone health, the structure of it. It's important. Those pains, those different things, and they don't need to get osteoporosis mixed up with osteoarthritis. That's more
Mhm.
Right.
painful and inflammation, is there. But we need to teach, and then just make them aware that this does happen, because there's a myth going out that only white women and Asians
Right.
have osteoporosis, which they have it at a higher prevalence, but Black women, we do have it as well. Maybe not as high of a prevalence as white or Asian, but we do have it. So we need to just be aware of that.
Right.
And then what really get me, the follow-up care,
Yeah,
like the,
that's important because
yeah,
the
yeah,
studies clearly state
yes.
that Black women
Mm-hmm.
have delayed access
Mm-hmm.
to the surgical interventions, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that delayed access, then there's
Mm-hmm.
high mortality associated with
Yes.
the
Yes.
fraction. So
Yes.
you get
Yes.
delayed treatment and
Yes.
higher death rate.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
And you know how you can
practice.
tell people, well, and I love how you say educate. That's what we're here for. That's what our show's all about. Thank God for that. But you know how you have it or somebody has it. Your grandma's shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
Your shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mother went from 5'6" to 5'2". So
Yes. Yes.
osteoporosis is affecting us because we're shrinking. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's how, if you need some evidence of this disease in Black people, it's
Yes.
happening and they're not getting scanned.
mhm, mhm.
Watching it before your eyes, stuff happened to them, you know?
And one of the other studies that I was reading was saying that osteoporosis is known as a silent disease
Silent killer.
because
Right.
symptoms may not come up until years later,
Yep,
and when it's late. So it's known as a silent disease because there may not be any symptoms either, though, until later. So that's why it's
until
so
you break
important.
something, until you
Yeah,
break
until you break something, yes. So
Mhm.
that's why it's so important that we, as physicians or family practice, whatever, nurse practitioners, we need to make that a plan of care for our people. We need to make that part of
Yeah.
the plan of care. Yes.
Yeah. And you
So you
know,
know,
Dr. Mary, you're in Mississippi, but it's no different.
Yes. Yes. You're right.
And other parts of the
Mhm,
country, in Alabama and North
mhm,
Carolina,
mhm,
in
mhm.
Texas, like what
Yes.
you're seeing in your community is happening all over the country with Black
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
thank God for you that you are there to be a voice. We
Mhm,
need everywhere, but it's
mhm,
happening. You know what I mean? I think you're
mhm,
just giving you a good microcosm of what's
mhm,
happening. I know it's
mhm,
happening where I
mhm.
live. I mean,
Yes. Mhm,
and we just are not healthy as a people. And
mhm.
and we are not getting the knowledge that we need to make the right decisions for our health. So
That's right. That's right. And it is, and I appreciate you saying that because it's everywhere. But we who have a platform like you're doing, and like you all are going to air this. I had people asking me too, "Well, how do we get on?" So they want to hear, they want to listen
Mhm.
in on. And I had somebody call me, and he's Mr. McGee. He called me this morning and said, "And so you're talking on bone density?" I was like, "Yes, sir." So he was
And so,
like, "You
and
did you pray and did
men,
you do your research?"
men get osteoporosis too. So we
Yes,
get,
oh
they
yeah,
do.
yes. So
Yes,
about
yes,
10% compared to
yes,
that of women, but we
yes,
yeah,
still get it. And I
yeah,
want
exactly.
to circle back. I want to
Mm-hmm,
circle back because we always want to also mention when we start talking about breast cancer. So it's
mm-hmm,
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know we got to have a breast cancer
right,
tag,
right,
right?
yes.
right.
So we know that the incidence of breast cancer in Mississippi is high too, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. I'm not sure exactly regarding the percentage, but it is high. Yes, and
It has
there's
a
the
higher mortality rate than national. The
yes.
last time I looked, it
Mm-hmm,
was
mm-hmm.
43% versus
Yeah.
41.
Yeah,
So
it's high. But we do have a lot of seminars and different rallies and things like that, trying to heighten the awareness of the importance of, checking your breast, doing self-care, breast exams, clinician breast exams, mammograms, even MRIs if there's a need, a lot of dense tissue as well. So we have pretty good care as far as the breast cancer, but we do have high numbers, so work is still needing to be done. That could have a lot to do with a sedentary lifestyle, still that diet still,
right, all the
some of
things,
the
all the
yes.
things, all the
Hmm.
things play a role
Hmm.
here.
Yes,
Um,
everything plays a role still. So, and catching it early,
Mhm.
prevention.
that's
Yeah.
all we can do is catch it early.
Yes, yes,
We can't
yes.
prevent it. We got to
But
early.
you got a screening. So is it,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
have to
so the
screen.
question
And
I
you
ask
know what? You know what,
is
Keith?
screening across
Yeah,
across
Hmm.
Mississippi? I mean,
yeah,
is that a practice? Is it a
Yes,
practice?
yes,
We
yes.
won't even
That's
talk about Black women. Let's just talk about women in Mississippi. Are women in
right.
Mississippi getting screened?
yeah. And
Yes.
you know what,
When,
Keith? For Black women, I believe it even starts before screening because
hmm.
guess the national data shows that Black
Hmm.
women under the age of 35 are getting breast cancer at twice the rate of white women and
Hmm.
dying at 3 times the rate of white women.
Right.
So if you go with
Yeah.
that data, age 40 to get your first
40.
mammogram, we're dead.
Hmm.
And so we're seeing so much cancer in younger women. I know like
Yeah.
triple negative, which is what I had. 40%
Yeah.
of triple negative patients are under 40. And so
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
me, it starts with risk assessment. We need to start
Yeah.
talking about your risk.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
why it's
Yes.
so important to talk about at the kitchen table with your families,
Hmm. Hmm.
and to know her stories is what we're saying.
Yes.
Talk about it so and I think every Black woman with no cancer in the family needs to get a
Hmm.
risk assessment by age
Yeah.
25. And then
Yeah.
you'll understand what you're
Hmm.
up against and when you
Hmm.
should get your first mammogram. We now have wisdom study to participate in. We'll help you figure it out. But we
Mhm.
want women to be talking about this at an
Right.
early age. And so,
Yeah.
that's have our HBCU internship program. We have, these young women who are
Mhm.
sophomores and junior pre-med students. So
Mhm.
they can educate their families. And we've now had 105, we have 105 interns, 15 right now. And we know of 100 of them, our
Mhm.
internship is the first time they've ever talked to their moms about breast health.
Wow.
Other
Yeah.
moms, they have cancer in the family, but they don't talk.
Mhm. Yeah, and another good place to start, which I believe we're doing pretty good as for screening, but we need to keep talking it up to our younger adults, especially those who are at higher risk with family
Right.
members being
Right,
positive for breast cancer. But church is a good place, and we
Church.
do hold
Mhm.
certain because we find a lot of women there, young, middle age, old, young
Yeah.
adult. But church is a good place to start as well with the awareness. And we
Yeah.
do that pretty good here.
Everybody has
In
a pink
Hattiesburg.
Sunday.
you-
I have my pink Sunday this Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, the pink Sundays, yeah.
So disseminating information through the church. So
Mhm.
is NAACP
Mhm.
partners closely with the church to kind of
Mhm.
pass
Mhm.
on this health information.
Yeah.
So bone health and
Mhm.
breast cancer, because the reason why
Mhm.
the breast cancer is so important is because
Mhm.
the cancer itself
Mhm.
impacts bone health.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then the treatments
Yes.
against the cancer further
Yes.
impact bone health.
Yes. Yes.
And you said
So.
something that's key that was about detecting it early.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's extremely
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
That's extremely important. As far as NAACP, yeah, we're trying to partner with everybody on all
That's so
fronts.
great.
But we had Pink out evening last night at our NAACP meeting.
Isn't that
So
awesome?
yes, I
Oh, you can send
provided.
me some pictures of that. I would love to see that.
I will. I will. So we topped it off. I'm sorry, y'all, with a little cake with breast cancer awareness written on it in pink, and
that's great.
punch that my daughter made it look pink, and we talked, and I passed out brochures regarding breast cancer, and of course, Dr. Keefe, I still had leftover things for the prostate awareness as well, and I did the
Mhm.
little pink ribbon, so the awareness is there. But partnering with everybody else is so very important, including our churches, different civic organizations, fraternities, sororities. So, and we do that pretty well here. They kind of cover that pretty much, but we need to keep it going. We need to keep that
We're,
going.
we're gonna send you some stuff for your next one, okay? And
Oh, yes,
we've
please
actually
do.
we've actually been to
I
the
say too.
national
I said
NAACP conference a couple of
this is
Yes,
times.
going. This is. I'm trying to tell
yes.
you. This is. You know why this city is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Hattiesburg. It's because
Mm-hmm.
it's the hub.
Yes.
We're gonna send
Education,
you some stuff.
industry, and healthcare. That's the
Yes.
hub for the
Yes.
southern port. Well, really, it's
Yes.
interesting. You could
Mm-hmm.
just take a compass and just draw a circle, and
Yes.
it's all these places.
Right.
Yes.
We're gonna send you some stuff. I'm gonna come down there and visit you, but
I
um,
Yep.
want you to come. I want
I
you to
know.
See,
No,
go.
but man,
Yes.
we went to one
better
of your
watch out. You talk
conferences.
about you might want to move down there because they treated me so nice. I said like, don't
Wow.
y'all
The
have like a place like
hospitality.
give me
I
a little
know.
house over there.
I want some fried chicken. I know.
Oh,
But
No,
yes.
they had fried
I,
chicken. They had the
you
mac and
want the banana
cheese.
bread. I know you
Oh,
want
They
my
banana.
had
God.
they had some
Yes.
red velvet cake.
Oh, my God. Yeah, red beans and rice. Oh, my God. With sausage in it. We were bad. We were bad. I must admit.
Right. But you know what? I have to tell you the story though. So we actually went to your national convention. We
Mhm.
went last year. I think it was in Houston. The year
Uh-huh.
before, where was it? And anyway, but this young man came up to me. We had
Mhm.
a booth there. He came to me and he said, I'm about to get married.
Mhm.
I'm 31,
Oh.
married. I'm engaged. My wedding is in 3 months or whatever. So
Mhm.
tell me about breast cancer because now that I'm going to have a wife, I want to know.
Oh, wow.
And I made a video of this conversation that was so precious, but he interrogated me about how he could protect his wife from breast cancer.
Mhm. Oh,
And like,
wow.
if he eat differently, like how do I prevent like, and I guess they had it he had it in his family and how
Mhm.
my kids, but I just was so impressed with his questions to me about
Mhm.
ready for his wife. Is that so cute? But I mean, so I wish every Black man was like you. that was
Yes.
concerned about your health and your family's health and how you're gonna, is it gonna affect you? He said, if my wife gets breast cancer and gets a mastectomy, is she gonna be
Mhm.
able to watch my babies? I'm like, no, sweetie. You know, 'cause she's, yeah, but I mean, that's how he was thinking about, right? He was
Yes, yes.
thinking about like the rest, you know, how it's gonna
Mhm.
impact his
Mhm.
procreation, his family, and
Yes.
like his planning. Is that so funny?
Mhm.
But I mean, but like, why
Wow.
the NAACP convention? Like when
Yeah.
of all the topics to be talking about,
Yes, yes,
talking
yes.
about health. So the more we can integrate, and we love to partner with you guys with
Oh,
NAACP.
yes, yes,
So if
yes.
you want to do an event or you're having something, we'll come down and do something.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
I think
You,
where we make more of a difference is with you than even at the national convention.
yes, Dr.
Yeah.
Keysbaugh can attest to that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll do what we can. And you were talking about, I don't know why I'm here. There's a purpose of why you're here for such a time as this, and like now, there is a purpose, and you're
I have a
living
God
it.
job.
You're
I'm living
living
my
it.
God job. I'm living my God job. So, you know, I've met
Yes.
too many women who had what I had and aren't here to talk
Mhm.
about it. So
Mhm.
God job.
Yeah.
But it makes you just think about, you know, I know that our community needs help. And you know,
Yeah.
Haley about or hates it when I say we are health illiterate. But
Yes. Yes.
you know, why would we know? How
Right.
would we know? If it weren't for you or people like us or these shows,
Mhm.
how would we
Mhm.
know what to do? You don't know what to do.
Exactly.
You're in
Yeah.
your
Because
Yeah.
family.
of a high percentage of people,
Yes.
I mean, I hate to, I don't like to use the term, but a high percentage of people don't know.
Mhm.
Oh no,
And
Mhm.
why would
Mhm.
you know? How would you know? You're living your life,
because your
Yeah.
doing the right
your
thing.
doctor and
Yeah.
your healthcare team
Yeah.
um, is supposed to help educate the patient. I mean,
Right.
Dr.
Right.
Mary, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Yeah.
Dr. Mary's online right
Mhm.
now, so she can help
Mhm.
educate
Yes.
her team,
Yeah.
her community. I mean, Southern Mississippi. What is
Mhm.
it? What is it? What kind
Yeah.
of the Pine Belt?
The Pine Belt. Yes.
To the
Right,
Yeah.
Pine
right.
Belt.
Yes.
The fact
Mhm.
that you're
Mhm.
here and the
Yeah.
fact that when this is aired,
Yeah.
it's gonna people, it's a hometown person who's
Yes.
concerned about something that no one's heard about. I'm not
Yes.
saying no one's heard about it, but it's the last time any
Yeah.
Black woman in Mississippi was
Right.
ever spoken to about
Mhm.
osteoporosis.
Right.
How
Mhm.
many of them are going to osteoporosis clinics?
Yes.
How many
Yes.
bone scans have been done on Black women in Mississippi?
Yes.
I mean, if
Yes.
there's been, correct me, let me know.
Yes. I could not find any data. I cannot find any
I
data.
know, no, there's hardly any data about osteoporosis in Black women.
Right. Right.
What we have is that, you know, that it's
Mhm.
that get it, it's
Mhm.
bad for us. When we fall, it's bad for us. And you
Yeah.
know, have to get more women to even just ask their doctors for it because they're not paying us. And we
Exactly. And it's so sad because they don't know to ask. A lot of people, they don't know to ask. They don't know to ask what's the side effect of this med or that
exactly.
med. I have cancer, so how will this med, how will this radiation, how will that affect my bone health? So they don't know
Right.
if they don't know what to ask. So
They don't
that's
know
where
what
I
we
to
mean,
come
ask,
in.
but
but
see,
then
but they look at that. They don't know what to ask.
Yes,
But
yes,
then I want to say that it's our responsibility to
yes,
educate the public on
yes,
what to ask. That's
yes,
why we're out here
well,
advocating on a Friday
yeah.
yes,
afternoon.
yes.
But you know
Okay.
what though? But you know what, Keith, though? Bones are our last thought.
Mhm,
Like, when you're in the doctor, especially if you have cancer or some other disease or diabetes or whatever, the doctor
mhm,
is on that. You're not even thinking about your bones. You
mhm,
just
mhm.
Mhm.
take them for granted that they're going to work.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
knowing if the doctor's not going to bring it up to you as an issue, why would you not? Why would you think about your bones messing up?
mhm.
Mhm.
until
Exactly.
until bam, you fall,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
someone in your family falls. Like my
Mhm,
mother fall, made me be more careful walking up and down the steps. Like
mhm.
until a crisis happens, you're not
Yeah.
gonna have phones.
You're not
And
gonna.
Mhm.
But
And
we're
the, and
here. That's why
yeah.
we're here.
so we're
I
here.
mean,
Mhm,
this I still consider this
Yeah.
event, this
mhm,
showing, this interview today is
mhm.
historic.
Yes.
Because if it
Yes.
hasn't been done before, it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
historic.
Yeah.
Or because we do iconic shit, Keith.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
You don't even, I was doing all right. I had some nuts and berries. Okay.
And I see my words over here.
I had
Hey.
some nuts. I was eating good on a Friday. I had nuts and berries.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And a carrot. So
Oh my goodness.
I
So now the
splurged a
fried,
little
here
bit.
comes here
Well,
comes the
I
fried
had-
chicken.
I ate peppermint patties for lunch, so I can't really tell.
Oh wow. Well, I
See?
hadn't had lunch yet, but it's coming. But
coming.
the most important thing we need to get out in our communities is to educate them on bone health, the importance of getting screened, what things they should know to ask their physician, especially after they're a certain age. We
Right.
need to teach them on lowering the alcohol consumption, exercise and the different chronic illnesses that could play a part in their bone health. If they smoke, we need to stop smoking. We need to increase our physical activity and then get some exposure to the sunlight. And that race plays a part in yes, you can, have osteoporosis. So we need to just continue to
Look-
teach,
look
and
at
get that out,
Look
to
at
our
Dr. Mary.
people.
See, Dr.
Yeah.
Mary already gave us, she already just gave us a key takeaways.
Hey,
of the
I was
take
gonna
on
say, how,
message.
what if you
So,
said that
so
you did it?
all we have to
Here's
do
your
is get some
checklist.
kisses and loves and say goodbye. You
I know,
know,
that was I was gonna ask you for your checklist, but you just did it, girl.
that's
Oh
all
my
right.
God. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I am so compassionate about healthcare and especially everybody, but especially our people, and women in general, especially African American women. Because I have a daughter too, and I have little goddaughters and things like so. I am so in tune to wanting them to live better, have a better quality of life by getting
Yep.
proper care. And I always say, Dr. Keith, I should have did MD. I should have been a doctor so I could make more.
You still got time. You
No,
gonna live till you
no,
gonna
no,
we got time. You wanna come back? Come back. They
No,
need you.
I
They
just,
need they need you.
they need me because I need to
You know
be
why?
able to make a
Here's the
difference.
deal. You already have all this level of training. You just breeze through medical school. Shoot, wait till
Yeah.
you get to the clinic.
But look at what you're doing in your community.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
And
That's
yes,
exactly
sometimes I
right.
wish I went to med school too, but you gotta
yes.
use your platform
Oh,
and
yes,
influence people, and that's what we do
right,
wherever we are in our world. Like,
yes,
use
yes,
your platform that God gave you, and
yes,
we all have to do it. And you know what? You use the word to begin with. You're a collaborator.
yes, yes.
None of us can do this work alone.
Right,
None
right.
of us can do this work alone. We have to collaborate with each other.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to know you now.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Me
I'm gonna
too.
call you,
I told you I had a ringer. I said, like,
I know.
I said, you bring her in. She said, I didn't even have to worry about my stuff. She
I know.
already was like, go ahead and talk. So that's why
Once you're in our family too, you're in our
Mhm.
family, you are
because
done.
we got the
Yeah.
whole state of Mississippi.
Oh my God,
And I'm
yes.
gonna, but say, so what I want to say is I'm gonna have to go, but I want to thank you very much. I
Yes.
want
Thank
to
you so
thank
much.
you having, the time and the day to talk to
Mhm.
your community,
Mhm.
that Pine Belt group of folks,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
hub,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
hub of
How can
all the
people
people
reach
that they
you?
touch.
How can people reach you,
Yeah.
Dr. Mary?
Hey, look,
Yes.
the whole
Yeah.
state, we have to do the
Yeah.
whole state,
Mhm.
How can people reach you,
Okay.
Dr. Mary?
and one state at a time.
At one state at a time.
That's
Okay.
right.
How
All
can
right.
people reach?
They can reach me. They can reach me via email #2 Hosley HOSSLEY @yahoo.com. So they can reach out to me via my email. That would be great.
Great.
Mhm.
And
All right.
you can always email me, Ricky@touchbbca.org. But thank
I
you
got
so much for
Thank
today.
y'all for having
Right.
me. Thank you for having
And
me.
I'm Keith Crawford at Prostate Health Education Network. So
So
and at
be
K
healthy.
Crawford at prostatehealthedge.org.
All right.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Have a
Love
great
you.
weekend, everybody.
Y'all
Have a
too.
good
Okay.
weekend.
Bye
And
bye.
love your bones.